you very much. Thank you very much. Hi, good evening and welcome to the closing ceremony of the Lund International Architecture Film Festival. My name is Fritte Fritzson and I will be tonight's host. First, I would like to introduce from the festival's organizing committee, Marco Costella.
I would like to thank you all for being here, and I would like to thank you all that has been supporting the festival. With the support of Kultur Lund and Nordiska Kulturfonden, and in collaboration with Film i Skåne, Arkitekturskolan i Lunds universitet, Sveriges arkitekter, Skissernas museum, Lunds domkyrka, Filmskolan, Tripoli, ISU, Polska institutet, Nederländska ambassaden, Grand Hotel, Art Film Factory, Tore Sonnesson Media, Relevant Copy. And I would like to give a very big thank to all the sponsors. Foyal Arkitekter, that has been supported from the first edition, Akademiska Hus Syd, Sweco Arkitekter, Trivector, Plan- och byggnadskonst och Gunilla Svensson, arkitektkontor. Thank you all for making this possible.
Thank you, Marco. I actually met Marco at the Lund School of Architecture. Already then he was extremely talented. Was that the way I should say it? That was correct? Great. It's nice to be back here at the Lund Architecture Film Festival. I hosted this show last year as well, and I see some familiar faces, some I recognize and some new ones. And welcome to Lund, all of you, those who've traveled from far distances like Malmö and other cities. One of this year's themes at the festival is Our Built Heritage. Movies like 25 bis, Away from All Suns and Neon all focus on different aspects of our architecture history and the difficulties of its preservation. And one of Sweden's most discussed historical landmarks in the past few years is Slussen in Stockholm. Slussen, that translates the sluice, is a giant modernistic construction from the 1930s. It is actually one of the few places in the world where you seamlessly can travel in 4 or 5 different directions and buy your daily dose of heroin at the same time. This is what it looks like under the Slussen. And so you see, Slussen today is in very, very bad condition. But a new proposal, the new Slussen, designed by British architect Norman Foster, is to be built. I don't think it's a very interesting proposal, and I don't think the resolution is very good either, but never mind. It's very straight anyway, this proposal by Sir Norman Foster, very, very straight. So straight that many people have started to protest against the new Slussen. Among them, Benny Andersson from ABBA. Sorry, that was Björn Ulvaeus from ABBA. This is Benny Andersson from ABBA. ABBA, the super group from the 70s and early 80s. He actually uses most of his ABBA billions to campaign against the demolition of Slussen. This piece of art. All his Waterloo money, all his Dancing Queen money, all his Super Trooper money, all his money goes to the preservation of this. So, every time you buy a best of ABBA album or listen to an ABBA song on Spotify, the money goes right here. Maybe you're wondering about the instruments on stage. Are they just part of the decoration? No, they're part of this evening's musical entertainment. Singer, musician and composer Caroline Leander and her trio.
It seems so innocent, our last joke. Just a coincidence that Sunday walk. How come
Last year, Swedish director, well-known director Roy Andersson was here and received a prize at this ceremony. And this year he received the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Festival. So I think this year's nominees are quite excited about the future. And speaking about nominees, we have reached the first category of this ceremony, Best Visual Effects. Here to present from the festival, Maja Gustafsson.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to give away this beautiful prize by the artist Lars Ekholm. The nominated films for the best visual effects are Jonah from Kibwe Tavares and The Big Leap from Chris Roos. Lund International Architecture Film Festival Prize 2014 for the best visual effects goes to the short feature film The Big Leap of Christoph Roos.
I want to say that I'm not the director of the movie, but I have the same name. My name is Christopher Roos, and director name is Christopher Roos. So it happens. But I'm the cinematographer of this movie, so I'm not the only one who can take this. I'll take first thanks for the festival giving us the attention for our movie as an architecture movie. But this movie is a feature movie. It's not documentary or something like this. But when we started to develop this idea 3 years ago. It takes 3 years to develop and complete the whole movie. So the 90% of our effort and time went to work on architecture to create the actual city of this movie, which is the scene for the little drama. So we were director and me, cinematographer, and the effects guy, special effects guy, three working on this city all the time during almost 3 years. So we were amateur architects who build something like 350 skyscrapers. So we are architects. I don't know who of you have seen the movie, but there is nothing special to say more than movie can show. So I don't know what can be interesting, and maybe there are some questions or I can talk about it, although my English is very poor, but I could talk about it in hours, but maybe it could be boring. So if it's some questions, I can answer, but if not, so thanks so much for
The train is really heavy, isn't it? It's like a kettlebell training program thing. So, like quoted in the program, Sergei Eisenstein, the famous filmmaker, he said, "Architecture is film's undoubted ancestor, and computer games is film's unwanted child from an old marriage." That was my quote, actually, the last one. There are some feature films with a certain spatial or architectonic impact, where the architecture is extra evident. I like to share some of these movies that formed me as a child for you. And the first one I think will pop up here. No, that's not it actually. I think we should, yeah, this one. Anyone who recognizes it? Yeah, where is it from?
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, the classic horror movie from the beginning of the 80s. Maybe the most classic of all haunted house movies, with portholes through cupboard doors and TV set inhabited by ghosts and even evil trees. And I saw this movie when I was 11 years old. Actually, 11 years old, and you say, that's far too young. That's far too young for Poltergeist, but I knew the guy who owned the video store in my hometown, so I could see whatever movies I wanted, you know? No restrictions at all. So we rented the movie and went out to a friend of mine in the countryside outside my small town. Me and two friends, we biked out there to his house and we saw Poltergeist, and we were terrified, of course. It was absolutely terrifying, the whole movie. I sat behind a pillow half of the time, and after the movie my two friends said, we better hurry back to town because it's getting dark. But I said, no, I'll just stick around here and drink Fanta or whatever soft drink were popular in the beginning of the 80s. And some hours later I was leaving that house, and I came out on the dirt road, and absolutely no light, no street lights. The only light was like the thin like line of the illumination of my bike light, and everything started to be haunted. You know, the woods and even the dirt road, and I felt like someone was chasing me from behind, and I started to bike faster and faster and faster, and I felt this is absolutely horrifying, and I biked even faster and faster until I couldn't bike any faster. I came to the town limit, and I came to my street, and I threw my bike on the courtyard, and I went in and I screamed, Mother! 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 Yes, what is it, my son? Nothing. Nothing at all. Oh, thank you very much. You're too kind. The next movie I want to share about from my childhood is this one. Any suggestions on this one? Blade Runner, good for you, 2 points. Whatever that is, or a half kilo kaffe. Blade Runner by Ridley Scott. The dark, twisted, Asian-influenced dystopia, a megacity that lasted to the horizon and had socio-economic vertical layering with the amusement district nearest to the ground. And where the cityscape was a construction not only of walls and pillars, but of commercial messages and moving images. No one in the 80s thought this would be reality, with all sorts of information pumping out from the walls, that we could see moving images like this in the cityscape. But now, today, it's here. Like in this picture, where the commercial company JC Decor makes an advertisement for JC Decor. The future is really here. The next movie is this one, and I think the guessing contest will continue. Which movie is this one? Time's out. It's Brazil by Terry Gilliam. You said it, didn't you? But very quietly. Okay. You get the points. You get the extra points. This is another dystopic and depressive political thriller. This time by Terry Gilliam. In Brazil, this movie, Gilliam used a housing area outside Paris called Les Espaces d'Abraxas by the Spanish architect Ricardo Bofill. And this area and many others in France during this time was a postmodern reaction to the dull, modernist housing areas of the 50s and 60s. Planners said, we can make equally grey areas, but with Greek inspiration. Of course, these areas became as depressive as the older ones, but at least it worked well as a scenography in Brazil. So thumbs up, Ricardo Bofill. And the last one, the last inspiration for me, Bamse. Is a cartoon best described as a Swedish socialist Donald Duck. I loved this cartoon as a kid, and even the narrator's voice was extremely great. He said something like, Bamse på väg upp på berget för att hämta underhåll från farmor. And if you don't understand Swedish, that was a really good impression. Really good impression of the narrator's voice from Bamse. Bamse is a superhero that gets his powers through a special honey cooked by his grandmother. And he says quotes like, if you're very strong, you also have to be very nice. He was a really quote machine, like Oscar Wilde or Churchill in that sense. And I was really amazed by the fantastic architecture in the universe of this cartoon Bamse. Look at this fantastic architecture. It's like, you know, created without architects. It's fantastic. It's all this carved out of stone and fantastic carpentry and imagination and everything. And I really loved it as a kid. But when I look at this architecture as a grown-up, I see the problems. I start to get questions, like, for example, how do you get the fire engine or an ambulance up that hill? Or what about mass transit? What about bus routes through this area? Bus routes, is that economical with four houses for one bus route? So I have to say, sorry Bamse, but this is not sustainable. Not sustainable. Now it's time for some music again, and I think you know, both you and the rest of you, who are going to do this. Caroline Leander Trio, welcome once again.
Painfully glad to see you. The moment we had, painfully glad.
We talked about the prize earlier. This prize, the Golden Ark, created by Lars Ekholm. No shouting this time. We had a really great Lars Ekholm fan over there earlier. I was just wanted to know if I could bring back the Lars Ekholm vibes. Real Madrid was playing. You mentioned Lars Ekholm. It's inspired by the Cathedral of Lund, the Romanesque Cathedral of Lund, and other heavy things here in the city, actually. We move on to the next prize category, Best Documentary. And here to present the prize is architect Magdalena Hedman from Foya Architects. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Foya Architects has been a sponsor for the film festival since the beginning, and we're really happy to be here tonight too. The nominees in the category of the best documentary are Away from All Suns by Isa Willinger, Microtopia by Jesper Wachtmeister, and The New Rijksmuseum by Oeke Hogenlich. And the Lund International Architecture Film Festival Prize 2014 for the best documentary goes to, for showing in a thrilling manner the difficulty planning process of the extensions of a museum and complicated relationships between the client, the politicians, the city, the residents, and the architects, to film director Oeke Hogenlich for the New Rijksmuseum, Part 1 and 2.
Hello everybody in Lund. My name is Oeke Hogendijk, and I'm very honored, deeply honored, that I won the Arch Film Lund Prize 2014. The news was kind of a thing that made me very happy. And I'm also happy because, you know, when I made this film, The New Rijksmuseum, I was somehow feeling that I made a film on a typical Dutch issue and typically Dutch problems. And by winning this prize in Lund, it means that you can refer to the film and you even loved it. So that to me is a great honor, it makes me happy. What makes me not so happy is that I'm not able to come to Lund because I'm leaving today to go to the Ukraine, actually to the Crimea, and that's where I'm starting to film on my new film, and there was no chance for me coming to Lund. But maybe some other time, and I wish you all a very, very, very wonderful evening. And again, thank you so much for this prize.
Thank you, Åke, from live, of course, from Amsterdam. Before we move on to the next category, I wanted to talk about a type of movies that maybe are depressing for in terms of architecture. War movies, because war always destroys the architecture. But war movies can be very exciting. And I actually got to experience some of this fall, last fall, when I went to Afghanistan as a field entertainer. I was there to entertain the Swedish troops there, and I noted that the soldier cultures were very different because there were American soldiers and Swedish soldiers there, and the American soldiers were pretty much as you remember them from the movies. They were like, "Yes, sir, I'm prepared to do anything for my country, sir." Something like that. Someone said, "Fire at will," and they said, "Yes, sir." And if the Swedish officer said, "Fire at will," the Swedish soldier said, "Excuse me, but we haven't received our earplugs yet. So how can we be expected to shoot, etc.? We can have ear damage, etc. in the future." So it's a little bit different. Now, actually, I mean, you just played, but do you like to play another song?
Sure.
The last song from Caroline Leander Trio. Give them an applause, please.
Unpredictable makes everything unforgettable. Enjoy the surprises of your life, and what will happen to us has been taken care of. All the harder you try to plan and decide, the more you will miss from what there is inside.
We have some extra applause. We have reached the final prize of the evening, Best Architecture Scenery in a Feature Film. I present to you Director of Art and Culture at the City of Lund, Torsten Scheler.
I used to be an actor when I started working with culture many years ago, so I know what a set design is. And the necessity of having a really good backdrop for making a movie or a theatre play. This feature film, which is now hidden inside this envelope, I guess you already know which one it is. It goes to the film director Karin Fahlén for Stockholm Stories, and I must say, before I read the whole letter, that is almost incredible that Birger Jarl, who founded Stockholm, would make this award possible for you. You know, building the city, and actually you have used everything that Birger Jarl created in your movie, Stockholm. Lund International Architecture Film Festival Prize 2014 for the Best Architectural Scenery in Feature Film goes to film director Karin Fahlén and the movie Stockholm Stories. Welcome, both of you. And I think there is one board who wrote this script is also coming. Here is the heaviest prize in Lund. Congratulations to both of you.
Not so tall. I'm glad we're doing this in English so I can practice for Venice next year. I'm very, very happy to be here. We are happy to be here. It's a great honor, of course, and I'm very proud to receive this prize. And I'm happy you acknowledge the architectural scenery in our movie. I've been thinking about architecture. It's, in a way, it's the ultimate form of art, I suppose, as it's like a giant sculpture of people's dreams, hopes, and possibly aspirations. So I think it's a good thing. And it's also a great platform for people to try and define who they are together with the growth of the city, and hopefully the growth of the city and the growth of the people there becomes something larger than they would have on their own, and something greater and something more fantastic. I've also been thinking about the movie we've made, and how it's amazing how a wall or a elevator or a fence can provoke and inspire action among the people within the city, action that creates drama, that inspires us to do stories. So that's fantastic how that works and how we can kind of inspire each other. And I was also thinking that architecture in art is a kind of very democratic form of art, because it belongs to everybody. It belongs to you, me, and it belongs to everybody who passes by and who moves in its environment. So it's a good thing for everyone. So I suppose this prize belongs to you as well, in a way. And I'd also actually like to take the opportunity to thank Eric so much for writing this story so well, and to make use of the city's different aspects. And I'm happy to hear that we've used all Bigger Jost stuff. I didn't realize. Maybe he was just like sitting on our shoulders. I don't know. But that's great. And also, I will also take the opportunity to thank Martina Stör, who's here, who's the producer of this movie, for letting us roam around Stockholm in every corner, Slussen particularly, among the heroin addicts and the whatever bridges, and letting us roam around and just shoot things wherever we wanted, and making that possible for us without the police taking us away. So thank you for that. And thanks for this prize.
I have absolutely nothing to say about that. Nothing. I just want.
You have to.
Yes, you have to say it.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to thank Karin for directing this script so beautifully and brilliantly, and also thank you, Martina, for your professionalism and patience in my grumpy periods. That's all for me. It's extremely happy.